How is it going, folks? And happy Monday. Welcome back to Prem. Today, I was going to come back with the youth intake, but having seen this, I think we're just going to do 3 matches today instead. We've not won in our last 5 league games. We have to turn that around today. 3 matches coming up. Don't go anywhere. A warm welcome back to Prem. I left things last episode at the start of January. We have played 11 games since then, and it's now the 16th of March. Like I said, I had a plan for today's episode. It was to cover the youth intake. The youth intake is whelming, to say the very least. I mean, I can click through some of these players and show you them, but truthfully, without some monstrous development, there is just no chance that any of them make it into the first team. Also, for some reason, they've all generated without faces, which, I'll be honest, I still don't understand why that keeps happening in my game, but it doesn't matter because they're all bad. Now, of course, I left things in the January transfer window last episode, and I was looking for signings to make, having made some rather big sales. Did I make those signings? No, not really. I did spend some money, less than £1 million, on a Brighton youngster, Carl-Johan Norlin. Of course, we've already got one Swedish centre-back in our team who's part English. I thought, why not add another? This guy, though, is a pretty decent centre-back by all accounts. I think if we compare him to Hoey, you kind of get an idea of just how good he is. I think he is a solid centre-back option, to say the very least. He's either-footed, he's an impact sub, a little bit of potential, although I'm not expecting a ton, and really, he's just a useful player to have on the bench. Edmondson had been our go-to centre-back on the bench option. Safe to say Carl is, well, a rather significant upgrade. Now, it doesn't mean that I've not spent money, though. No. I've spent some money in the last couple of weeks, actually, on a transfer that won't happen until next summer. And you'll be pleased to know it is a centre-back. Alfie Dorrington is joining us from West Ham, a player who has some crazy potential in Football Manager. In this save game, he looks pretty good. I'm a little bit concerned that I've overpaid, if I'm being honest, but centre-back has been kind of a need to improve position for a long time. He was actually transfer listed by request by West Ham. He wasn't interested in joining in January, because I did actually look at him then. But you can see here, super consistent, loves important matches. He's a young centre-back who's not really been given a chance in the Premier League with West Ham. Safe to say for us, he will be the new man who slots in the heart of our defence come the start of the new season. And yeah, he's going to be a monstrous upgrade on what we had before. As I mentioned, minor caveat, I've spent £30 million on him. Look, he has a little bit of potential, which I'm hoping he can still improve. I feel like when you look at his attributes at a glance, you see the jumping reach is 16 and nothing else in yellow, and it looks underwhelming. But when you dive a little deeper, plenty of his attributes are on that threshold of kind of a 15 level. If he can improve a little, or even if he doesn't, he's going to be a useful player for us to have. Now, like I said, a whole load of games played since last episode. I'm going to go through these rather quickly. Last episode, we lost 2 games in a row, and I'll tell you what, it hasn't got much better. This form looks absolutely tragic, doesn't it? We lost against Fulham at the end of last episode. We then could only draw against Hull City. That was bad. We then drew against Leeds United. That was also bad. Then we lost to Hull in the replay at home, albeit with a very rotated team. That was nothing short of a disaster. And from that Hull game, things haven't got much better. 8 more games played, only 2 wins. The first of those, immediately after getting knocked out by Hull, we managed to beat Everton 2-0. That was a nice game there. But if you were hoping it was going to build up some momentum, the momentum was very short-lived. A 1-1 draw against Brighton actually isn't that bad. They are directly alongside us in the league. We then managed to beat Chelsea 2-1. To do the double over Chelsea was really nice this year. Of course, we beat them 8-2, I think it was, in the previous meeting. Couldn't quite do that again. Scored in the first minute. Lancashire with an assist and a goal in this one, turning provider for Joe Bellingham on the first. He would, of course, like I said, go on to get a goal in this game too, in the middle, heading it in. They got a late goal. It was not enough. At one point in this game against Liverpool, we were 3-2 up. The game finished 3-5. Yeah, Hoey got absolutely annihilated in this game. 5.9 rating for him. Only silver lining, we scored a load of goals. Sekou Mara completing the comeback for Liverpool. And let me tell you now, Mara is a player who I've never seen be that good in Football Manager. He's actually outrageous in this save game. Like, it is ludicrous how good he is. They signed him, you can see here, Liverpool, for £45 million. He's got double-figure goals for the last 3 years. He's quite good, isn't he? Yeah, hat-trick in this game against us. And from there, really, the form has gone from bad to worse. A 3-0 defeat against Manchester United, a draw against Newcastle, a defeat against Arsenal. Those results, I feel like, are somewhat excusable. They're weaker teams, but taking on Brentford, we could only get a draw, and yeah, just a frustrating game, this one here. We battled back from behind on 2 occasions. Sadly, wasn't enough, and to make things worse in this game, Sheldon got injured, And yeah, he's out for up to 3 weeks. But you know what? Having had a tricky few games, the next few games should be winnable, I hope. Leicester at home's the first one, the rematch against Andy White. After that, we are going to take on Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are currently up in 5th in the Premier League. Their pre-season prediction was 10th. They are defying the odds. They've kind of continued their charge alongside Aston Villa, whilst we've started to falter. And then in our final game today, we're going to take on Burnley, who are battling in the relegation battle. 10 games left of the season. We have 38 points. Safety feels secured at this point. I feel like today's episode is going to determine, could we make a little late challenge for Europe, or is mid-table just what we're going to have to expect? If we look at our performance in the first half of the season, we were really, really good, with 28 points to our name. Second half of the year, we've struggled a little bit more. I mean, only 3 defeats in 9 games, but 4 draws really has cost us. So Leicester up first today, their key player, unsurprisingly, Andy White. In this universe, they're actually managed by Xavi Alonso, who's not had such a good time. He went to Newcastle, was sacked, 4 years without a job, decided to take over Leicester in the drop zone. He's actually sent them on a crazy recovery. They're now up in 12th. If they beat us today, they'll actually draw level on points. Although we have the better goal difference, we need to get a good result here. For this game, part of me wants to continue to play on the front foot, and I have been leaning more on the free attacking system, but you know what? I kind of fancy my chances better if we start a little more conservative with a review to if we're chasing the game to then press on the front foot in this game here. Defensively, we've not looked good in this second half of the year. It's been against tough opposition. Still got Andy White to deal with today. Of course, Sheldon is out injured. That's a bit of a miss for us, but I'm hoping we can get something. I'm very glad that with Sheldon out injured, Rashid Mohammed is back. He's been at AFCON, he's had a few injuries. He has been a player, though, who has been a real match winner for us. We've lacked his presence in the team. Look at that recent form. That is miserable, isn't it? Like I said, 3 matches today. These games are going to define our season. If we get some results here, I start to feel optimistic that maybe we can make that late charge for a top half, maybe even Conference League finish. Obviously, failure to win in these upcoming games, maybe start to worry a little bit more. Half an hour played in this game. There has been no chances whatsoever. They are actually set up in a very similar shape to ourselves, albeit they've got 2 attacking mids instead of 2 strikers. And it does feel like 2 Metapod fighting one another. For my Pokemon viewers out there, we're just using Harden on each other. Nothing's happened in that half, has it? I mean, in a weird way, a draw wouldn't be the worst result, but I am kind of craving wins at this point in the year. I feel like my best approach now is to go to the free striker system. No personnel changes needed. I'm not going to make any rash changes personnel-wise. We'll look to inject fresh legs if needed. Do you feel like free strikers up against their free centre-back can maybe cause them issues? Leicester are trying to play the ball out from the back. I think that's indicated by their possession. If we can get the ball in a dangerous area off them, maybe we could cause them issues. Or maybe just nothing's going to happen because we're now 62 minutes in. Okay, Jimmy J. Morgan on for Lancashire, who's struggling for fitness. Gavin Wallace, good to have him back in the team because he's had a few injuries this year, but he has run his race elsewhere. Ajaria on for McConnell, outright wing-back. Lately, McConnell has, well, not been so good defensively. He had a really good run of form around Christmas, which convinced me to play him more often. He's been a bit of a letdown lately, throwing him under the bus casually there. Colby Hartswell, who we signed last episode, I've been giving more and more minutes to where possible. Part of me wants to sub him on here just for the sake of his development, but I kind of need to win the game first and foremost. Since we've gone to the more attacking system, we've actually now managed to have way more shots in this half, but we're yet to hit the target. If we want to hit the target, that would be nice. Of course, you do have to have a shot on target to score, unless there's an own goal. Not sure that's a viable strategy to rely on. Maybe we can create something here. Rashid Mohammed dropping in that little bit deeper. Flood, Mohammed using his pace, getting in behind. I thought for a moment, sadly dispossessed, but Leicester forced to go long here, and a turnover in possession is created. Morgan now with the ball, gives it to Flood. Little switch towards Hutchinson. Can't pick out his man. Hutchinson brought on for his creativity on the left-hand side. Maybe he can offer that for us. As Arian B brings the ball forward and gives it to Rashid Mohammed. There's a run through the middle. Meredith gets goal side, pulls the trigger and crashes it against the crossbar. 15 minutes left here. We've now got a corner. Ajaria's going to whip it to the back stick. Hoey is there, and Danny Hoey scores his 6th goal of the year. Went on the front foot in this second half. We've kept them pinned back. We've created a ton, and albeit from a set piece, we have broken the deadlock. 5 minutes left in this game. Part of me wants to go to the more cautious system, but part of me feels like the best approach now is to stay on the front foot. We've been by far and away the better team in this half. They are now desperately changing their shape to chase the game. And, well, we've played 30 seconds too many, and Leicester now have a highlight. No way. No. Football Manager, don't you dare. Penalty has been given We've played 30 minutes extra. It's a disgrace. VAR's going to check it. Please rule out the penalty. Please. I needed a win. Football Manager. I needed a win. I was forecast a win. Caleb Anson to try and turn hero, but you can't expect anything. Leicester with a penalty, and it finds the bottom corner. And we have just lost a victory that felt all but done. And I feel like that sums up the second half to the year. There's games where we are the better team and we just can't get it over the line. It's going to be a 5th draw in 10 games since the halfway mark. And that really felt winnable. A penalty so late on. What a cruel way to lose it. Look at the match momentum. Second half, we were the better team. And we lose it at the death. If I want to find a positive, 9 games left of the year, we've just hit the points total that we hit last season to stay up. Obviously, I told the board at Christmas time we were going to get a mid-table finish. We're still kind of on course for that, but I am very acutely aware there's plenty of teams behind us with games in hand. If they win them, we're probably going to drop into the bottom half. I mean, that is just a gutting way to lose a football match, isn't it? Good news, I've got a 2-week rest now until the Wolves game. Wolves, second half of the season, have been really, really good. They are mounting a little challenge. I was going to say on the top 4, they are 10 points behind Tottenham, but they're certainly surpassing all expectations. They are not going to be an easy team to beat. 2 weeks, I'm going to rest up the players. Pray we don't get injuries in the international break. Don't go anywhere. We've still got 2 games to do today. I mean, I was joking when I mentioned the whole injury thing. Football Manager didn't get the memo. Caleb Anson has a tight groin. He can still play the game though, luckily. Meant to mention it sooner actually in today's video, but Marcus Sheldon has recently signed a new deal. Still coming back from his long-term injury. I'm not going to rush him back into this game for what it's worth, but he is now on £50,000 a week. That is until 2034, and we also, on top of that, have an optional contract extension of 3 years. So not only is it tying him down for, well, the next 4 years, we could extend that to 7 years. And at £50,000 a week, I think we can all agree that's a bargain. Hopefully going to stop teams showing interest in him over the summer. Our wage spend, by the way, for the year is £27 million. That is about half of Bournemouth, who were in administration down at the bottom here. When you compare that to Man City at the top, it's poxy. I think what makes it more absurd is our £27 million a week wages, or £27 million per year wages. If it was a week, that would be amazing. But yeah, £27 million would put us down in kind of the bottom half of the championship for annual salaries. That really gives you an idea of how little money we have to spend. Which is bizarre, really, because there's a little bit of wage budget, there, but there's not a ton. But the overall balance is looking pretty darn healthy, isn't it? £40 million in the bank. Yeah, you got to love Premier League TV money. Anyway, we are going to jump into this game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Crystal Palace have just jumped ahead of us in the league, which is a little bit frustrating. Everton and Brighton, with wins in their next game, could go above us. So a win here is rather essential. Wolves, as I already said, going really strongly this year. This is going to be a tough little game. Sheldon is fit enough to feature on the bench. In terms of the rest of the team here, I am going to shuffle things around just a little bit. Amari Hutchinson's going to play at centre attack in mid. Of course, Wallace playing in at left wing back. Has had a lot of issues with injuries this year, it has to be said, when it comes to Wallace. A little bit of a concern here that he's had lots of little injuries. Hopefully now he can stay fit to end the year. You can kind of see from the gaps in his last 20 games just how much football he's missed. And in the final third, I do need the goals to start to flow. Yeah, I know we scored in that last game. It was from a set piece. We need to show more from open play. I'm showing Wolves a lot of respect here. Patrick Vieira's men have had a very, very good season. They are a tough team, and when you look at their personnel, they've got very good players. So we've got to be at our best here. I think a good defence would be a good start, he says, as Wolves have a corner. Lancashire gets one header. It's like we're playing volleyball in the box. We can't get it away. They crunch it against the crossbar, and we just about get it away from danger. I'm going to encourage the players here. Focus up, lads. Green, happy, smiley faces across the bottom, but still another corner to deal with here. Man whips in. Anson collects. That is not what I want to see early on in this game. Halfway through this first half, defensively, we're looking pretty good. Although, to be fair, we looked defensively good throughout the last game as well. I know they scored from the penalty in the last minute, but prior to that, Leicester just hadn't really created a great deal. It's about now scoring more from open play as we hit the post yet again. I forgot we hit it in the last game as well, didn't we? 5 minutes left of the first half. Still yet to have a shot on target in this game. It's not a classic, but you know what? We're frustrating them. And well, we could end things with a bang, maybe. Gallagher stepping over it. The number 14 to take this free kick. It will pretty much be the last kick of the half. I'm really bigging this up. Can it go well? I mean, it's a mad save by the keeper, to be fair. Can anything come from the corner to end the half? We scored a corner last game. Could history repeat itself? Hoey's there. They deal with it, and that is going to be that for the first half. A cagey game, a nervy game. Look at the XG story. Nothing really happening. I'm going to tell the players I'm far from happy. Unlike last game, I'm not going to change to play on the front foot immediately here, just because I anticipate Wolves to try and attack and go for the win in this game here, as I accidentally hit the spacebar button. As they go on the front foot and try and win, I think they're going to leave themselves open to the counter that we like to try and punish. I'll tell you what, Gallagher, that free kick at the end of the half, he's been denied by the goalie from range there again. Still have got the resulting corner. Hutchinson looking for Hoey at the back stick. We know the game plan by now. Sadly, so do Wolves. They're going to get it away from danger. Part of me wants to play the free striker system. Part of me thinks I need to be sensible in this game. I'm going to bring in Meredith at centre attacking mid. Of course, he could move to striker if needed. Wallace is struggling at left wing back, but I don't really have an alternative option there. Going to bring some fresh legs into the middle with Jobe Bellingham being added to our ranks. Looking at Rashid Mohammed thinking, you're not at the best game today. You know what? Sheldon, on you come. I need a hero. Maybe he can turn it around in our favour as we head into the remainder of this second half. Sheldon, we've missed him from, this season due to injuries. I need him back in the team, although we also need to defend set pieces better than we have done before, and preferably not give away a penalty. We've dealt with the initial ball, but Wolves still in a dangerous area. João Gomez shoots, and that is one hell of a finishing off the post, isn't it? We struggled for wins coming into today's episode. I hope that today with some more winnable games we could turn it around. Perhaps this was the least winnable of the lot. That is a strike worthy of winning any game, isn't it? I suppose at this point we do have to go onto the front foot, but we are very well prepared to do just that. I'm looking at further kind of personnel changes. Going to bring in Morgan for some fresh legs as well in the final third. 3 fresh strikers on the pitch. I think that'll do me for now. I need to save one sub just in case. That, by the way, was Wolves' first shot on target of the game. We've kept them so quiet. A moment of brilliance has hurt us. Now, we need to try and we'll do something magical. Ajaria played in behind. Options in the middle. I don't know if that's just shot or across, whatever it was the wrong decision. 10 minutes left. Well, we're at least having a few more highlights in this game now compared to the first half. Sadly, it's been Wolves having them, well, when it mattered. But we do have a chance here. Sheldon with a mazy run and a crazy finish that sadly is denied again by their goalie. It's another corner. Expectations at this point to score one are low. I want to be surprised. I'm not sure I'm going to be surprised here. Wallace also has picked up a knock, which is a little bit concerning because, as I've already mentioned, no left back on the bench to bring on in his place. Okay, we're going very attacking here to try and win, a point in this game at the death. Look at the XG. We've exceeded 1 goal. We've had all the chances in this game, and nothing is materialising. 7 minutes come and go. We're not going to do what Leicester did against us. And it's a defeat, a narrow defeat, but one where it feels like we've dropped 3 points. Their goalie, Zhao here, man of the match. That kind of game, I'm afraid. I mean, on the one hand, at the start of this season, I felt like this year was going to be much like last year. The fact that we've got as many points as we have should feel like a positive, but I feel like the first half of last year really elevated my expectations for the season, and now that we've gone into the new year, 2030's been miserable. I mean, the only way it could get worse is if we fail to beat Burnley in the next game. They are one place outside the drop zone. They are the kind of team we should be beating. Sheldon is fit enough to play the whole of this next game. I really need him to bail me out. I've done a lot of talks with players in the team trying to get the morale up. Our form is awful. We've not won in 7 games. It's actually the worst run without a win since I took over the club right at the beginning of this save game. When you look at the initial kind of slide here, Liverpool, Man U, Newcastle, Arsenal, they're excusable games to lose. The game against Brentford, not acceptable. The game against Leicester, not acceptable. Even to an extent, this game against Wolves, losing them to them 1-0. I'm not going to lose sleep over. We are taking on a Burnley team that we now absolutely should and absolutely have to, beat in this next game. They've won 6 games out of 30. They are there for the taking. If there was a game to turn things around, this is that game. In terms of team news, we are going with the free striker system. This is pretty much what I consider our best 11, at least on paper. Form-wise, maybe less so, but I need to show faith in these players. They've got us into a position where we've had a great first half to the year. Easy to forget that this squad is very similar to the team that last year scraped safety. And as long as we're not in that kind of scraping safety scenario, it's an improvement on last year. But given where we were, it's hard not to feel like we're throwing away a mighty opportunity to get a mid-table finish, build up our reputation, and put ourselves in a way better position to strengthen the team next year. The Burnley team we're taking on aren't good. They have won 2 of their last 3, mind you, so probably not the best time to be playing them. Okay, early highlight in this game. If Burnley play the ball out from the back, I feel like we can use that to our advantage. The ball there coming down with snow on it. Ajaria mopping up the loose play, and now we're going to try and get it forward. Flood to Sheldon to Ajaria. Nice build-up play here until whatever that is. I mean, what is that? I'm almost tempted to sub him off now 2 minutes in. Barrios now with a free kick for Burnley. It's cleared away, and actually there's the chance of a counter-attack here because Rashid Mohammed has legs. The man can run. He is fast. He lays it back to Flood intelligently, who, not so intelligently, loses the ball to Hannibal Mejbri, who's going to launch now a potential counter-attack here. Laird bringing the ball forward to Logan Sargent in the final third. The number 9 storming forward, pulls the trigger. That was only just wide. All action early on in this game. Last 2 games, nothing really happened in the first half. Going on the attacking system, more happening arguably at both ends of the pitch, which isn't necessarily what we want to see. But what we want to see is Ajaria not shooting like he did last time. I'm subbing him off. This might seem really rash. I've tried to be patient with him. He's developed a lot this year. He had a good game last year. He should not be on the pitch if he's going to do that. Matthew Miller, on you come. I'm not losing the plot. I'm not losing my head. It's a sensible decision. That's what I'm telling myself. Imagine if Matthew Miller now is the reason that we concede a load down the left-hand side. Can you imagine? The comments will never let me live it down. Logan Sargent lays it inside to Lloyd Kelly. Belabor shoots. I mean, apparently there's something in the water today. Everyone's shooting from range and it's all awful. We've now got a free kick. I'm hoping this is going to be a better effort. Gallagher almost scored one of these last game. On this occasion, he forces out another athletic save, but it was never going in. Half an hour played in this game. After that initial flurry of chances, which weren't actually real chances, were they? This game is calming down a little bit. Corner for us here. We've already scored one of these today. Why not dream of scoring another? Gavin Wallace whips in. Hoey is under it. That is only just wide. That was really close. If I want to find a positive, Burnley haven't had a shot on target in this game. We've kept them quiet. But I feel like we've done that on the regular and then failed to convert that into a win. We absolutely need to do it today. We need to show a bit more quality in the final third. What have I just seen? What have I just seen? Belabor's through. Belabor scores. I just feel sad. I mean, quality in the final third is one thing. Rolk and Hoey here, I don't know what they're doing between them. It's Tweedledum and Tweedledummer in the centre of our defence. Thank gosh we've got Alfie Dorrington joining us. Shame he can't be joining us now to play there. I was thinking to myself, my team talks have to be different at half-time. It might have to be even worse if we go on and concede another, because Burnley, having got one, are on the attack again here. Lloyd Kelly to Barrios. He lays it wide to Laird. There's loads of space on this side for him to bring it forward. He squares it in. Hoey clears it away half-heartedly, but it's not away from danger. Burnley penning us back right now. That goal has certainly changed the complexion of this game. Barrios to Hannibal in acres of space in the middle. Lewis, Belabor. We are just chasing shadows right now. Burnley have turned into Barcelona, and the goal scorer is cutting inside and putting it on a plate, and Hoey's blocked that one to his credit. But what am I witnessing? How has this season ended up in this kind of situation? This feels like the team of last year all of a sudden, where we're scrapping for every point, and even when we play well, it just feels like it's not enough to get anything remotely close to 3 points. It's 1-0 at the break. All I can really do is get shouty. Up until the point we conceded, we were good. I'm looking at the ratings here. It's just, no one's playing well. It's hard to make changes when no one's doing well in a game, isn't it? I'm not going to make any changes. I don't feel like we've been that bad. Am I in denial? I know we're not creating a lot, but they've scored their one shot on target, and given the nature of how it was scored, I don't feel like that's grounds to rip everything up and rebuild. Miller, bring it forward. I've brought you on off the bench. He's maybe earned a penalty? Has he given a penalty? VAR's going to check it. I've been burnt by these before, so I'm not going to celebrate it. Matthew Miller, on off the bench. Has he earned us a penalty? The game is trolling me. I'm actually in pain and I want to cry. Sheldon whipping it in. Hannibal heads it away. We're into another very quick highlight here. Rolk looking to keep the play alive. Cuts inside. Pulls the trigger. Only just wide of the post. Okay, I need to make some changes in this game here. I'm going to bring in Jimmy J. Morgan and move Sheldon into the middle of the pitch. in terms of what else I can do here, I think fresh legs really is just the order of the day. McConnell on you come, Hutchinson on you come for your quality deliveries. And you know what? Meredith on... I'm going to take off Sheldon. I'm going to bring in Meredith. I think his aerial ability is useful in holding up the play. I mean, look at the match momentum. Look at it. I just feel sad. I feel like I have a victim complex, but I actually do feel like I am a victim here. Time is whittling down in this game. I've got to make some changes. I'm going to move McConnell and Flood further up the pitch, and I'm going to ask them both to just be a little bit more mobile when we have the ball. I've got to try and do something in this game here. I'm really tempted to roll the dice and move Hutchinson forward and Aaron MB to left wing back, but I think it's too soon to do a change that radical. 5 minutes left in this game. I mean, all that's left to do is go very attacking. 1-1, 1-0, 1-0. The goals have dried up. Defensively, we're not bad. And, well, any hopes of European football have just been vanquished, haven't they? Burnley have managed to get a result there. We weren't even good in the second half. They got a goal and shut up shop. We didn't come close to breaking them down. We dropped down to 11th. I mean, a mid-table finish is still really, really good, but it's the nature of how we are playing right now. We're not even playing that badly defensively, but there's nothing, is there? Let's be honest, there is nothing. You look at this run of form, it's not even like we've been smashed in games either. I mean, yeah, okay, Manchester United smashed us, but with the exception of that, it's very, very, very narrow games. The XG table still has us up in 5th, and our expected points is 9 lower than it was. At the halfway point, it was about neutral, so we have just been on an unlucky run of games, but that's not really any comfort right now. 9 hours without a goal for Rashid Mohammed, 9 hours without a goal for Lancashire. Yeah, that is... That's a problem, isn't it? The sooner that Sheldon is back to full fitness and playing regularly, the better. But even then, he's played the last game, it didn't even really make a difference. I do feel like at this point, this season is now kind of going to fizzle out into a bit of a nothing burger in the grand scheme of things. Our final game of the year is against Fulham. If there's nothing to play for, probably going to come back for that game, play a rotated team. We'll do some of the end of Spiely stuff, maybe do a bit of a reflection on the squad, a little bit more than I have done in previous years ahead of the transfer special. Maybe we'll delve a little bit into statistics, see if we can figure out where things have been going wrong this second half of the year. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode, mostly just my pain and suffering, but maybe that's entertaining to watch. Apparently it is, so I hope you enjoyed. We're going to be back next time to wrap up the season, hopefully with a win against Fulham, and from there we will be preparing for next season. If you've enjoyed, leave a like, come back tomorrow for more. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.